Hey everyone! Today we will continue our behind the scenes series with 50 facts from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, the third film in the series. If you want to be notified when the other videos are covered, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Let's kick it off with
What are they for? What do they do?
They sing. What do you mean? Look at it. Blink. There you go.
when the new director, Alfonso Cuaron, was first approached, he was unfamiliar with Harry Potter. He dismissed the idea until after talking with his friend, Guillermo del Toro, a famous filmmaker. He told him, "Don't be stupid, read them immediately." And so he did, and he fell in love with the universe. Michael Gambon, the actor who took over the role of Dumbledore after Richard Harris's passing, didn't read the Harry Potter books. He didn't want to be bothered with things being removed or added. He just wanted the story they were telling in the movies. Designers got to create their own monsters for the Monster Book of Monsters. Some included were plant creatures, four-limbed snakes, and even something resembling a cross between a chicken and a troll. Alfonso Cuarón wanted to give the movies an even darker feel than Chris Columbus. While Columbus wanted the second movie to feel darker than the first, Cuarón brought in the tones of blue and grays that would get darker as the films progress. Professor Flitwick didn't make it into the script, but they asked Warwick Davis to play the frog choir conductor. When returning for the next film, Mike Newell liked the conductor's look, so they changed Flitwick from the old and gray to the younger and more formal look.
Laughing at them running up the hill. Hair, 1, 2, 3, hair.
Harry.
Dan.
Bloody hell, Harry, that's not funny.
Aunt Marge's scenes were done practically, with 4 stages of makeup and 2 different inflated suits. She and her double would be placed on a wire rig to lift and flip her out the door and over the garden. Alfonso Cuarón gave the trio a homework assignment before filming. He wanted each of them to write an essay in the first person as their characters from birth to the day they learned that they were witches or wizards. He wanted to see how well they knew and were connected to their characters. Emma Watson gave a multi-pager, Daniel Radcliffe gave a short and simple response, and Rupert Grint didn't turn one in because he figured Ron wouldn't either. The HP team wanted to see if they could make Dementors without CGI. For around 6 months, other options were tested, including puppeteers. The Dementor puppet would be placed underwater to give it a flowing motion. While it didn't work out, the underwater footage was helped to make the CGI model. There were 4 versions of Buckbeak, 1 digital and 3 physical. There were 2 for standing in the foreground and background, and the third one sat and moved in Hagrid's pumpkin patch. The scene of the night bus speeding through the streets of London was filmed using a technique called undercranking. The bus would drive normally while the other vehicles went super slow. The film camera would be set to a slower pace so it looked like the bus was zooming when it was played back at regular speed. It took around 4 months of training to get Scabbers and Crookshanks to run down the hallway in their opening scene. Crookshanks kept passing Scabbers because his pace was too slow. Crookshanks was played by 3 cats, Crackerjack, Olive, and Bobo. Another one by the name of Prince would be added in the Order of the Phoenix. When the cats were groomed, the fur that was brushed out was saved and clumped up. These clumps were clipped back onto the cats to give them an unkempt wild look. 2 Kilborn deerhounds were brought in to help create Sirius in his animagus form. They were recorded doing different tasks and then uploaded into a digital program. The makeup team matched Peter Pettigrew's wigs to the same color as Scabbers' fur.
Scabbers.
Harry, do you realise what tree this is?
Run! Run! Harry, run!
A kickboxer and a dancer were hired and trained for several months to be filmed in the transition of Remus Lupin into a werewolf. Unfortunately, it became impossible to achieve what they had been training for when it came to going on set due to the terrain. David Thewlis would go through several stages of prosthetics to help show the werewolf transformation. It would take about 4 to 5 days of filming to get what they needed before CGI would take over for the full werewolf version. The updated clock tower and courtyard were moved to the back of the Hogwarts to create a more logical connection between the parts of the school and the foreground. A 50-foot section of the bridge was sent to where Hagrid's hut was in Scotland. The pieces would be lifted into place by helicopter, which could only be done on a non-windy day. Steel scaffolding structures were put into place to keep the bridge stable. 5 stone monoliths were added to the end of the bridge. Again, a helicopter would airdrop the stones into pre-dug holes. The scene was so believable that some actors asked if they picked that location because the monoliths were already there.
It goes from nighttime, when the moon goes down, it goes to sort of late evening with the sun coming up.
Sirius Black Swan was designed to complement the tattoos he's covered in. Several small runic symbols were placed upon the wand. To create the old and rickety feeling of the Shrieking Shack, the set was built on a hydraulic platform. This allowed the doors and the shutter to swing about and the fabric on the walls to flap. Since the Shrieking Shack was supposed to be unused for years after Lupin left school, it had to look run down and dusty. This created a slight issue when filming. Every time they cut and had to redo a scene, the shack would need to be redusted. Otherwise, you would see footprints where there shouldn't be. Like the creation of Flourish and Blots and Chamber of Secrets, Honeydukes would take over the same set. Revamped into its third shop, it was filled floor to ceiling with candies. David Thewlis initially thought his character would only be in one movie since he knew Lupin wasn't in Goblet of Fire. However, when they were filming Azkaban, the Order of the Phoenix book was set to be released. He would go to the midnight release at his local bookstore to buy a copy. He was delighted when he saw Lupin would be coming back for more.
John will design a rig, and then we'll plonk our actors onto the rig, shoot the actors, and then we'll extract that back and put it back into our animation.
Emma Thompson, who played Professor Trelawney, illustrated her thoughts on how Trelawney should look. She would pass them along, and the costume designer said it was pretty unbeatable. So that's the look they went with. Tom Felton asked Emma Watson if she wanted to practice a slap scene with him, and she actually slapped him across the face. She was somewhat embarrassed when she realized too late that he meant a movie slap, not a real one. A fire that covered nearly 100 acres broke out near the set. No one was hurt due to the fire, but the filming was delayed for some time. Tom Felton's robe's pockets were sewn shut to keep him from sneaking snacks while filming. Alan Rickman and Michael Gambon played a prank on Daniel Radcliffe when all the students were sleeping in the Great Hall. They slipped a fart machine by Daniel Radcliffe and kept making it go off randomly.
In our dreams, we enter completely our own world. You know, it's completely our own world. And we like to swim in the deepest waters and fly.
They had put a fart machine into my sleeping bag.
Inspiration for Lupin's classroom came from visiting the Pitts River Museum in Oxford. The divination classroom was designed to look like a brightly colored exotic tea shop. However, as times got harder for Trelawney, this would change and become more subdued. Gary Oldman taught Daniel Radcliffe how to play a Beatles song on a bass guitar. Harry Melling lost a fair amount of weight between filming, so they had to make him a fat suit to maintain the appearance of Dudley Dursley. Designers Mina Lima wanted the Marauders map to be different from a regular old rolled-up map you find in films. They made it with unique folds and thin strings to easily open and close.
Physically, that was what I set myself up to do, was to try and have something that felt like you could unfold it at any point and there would always be another bit that you could discover.
Alfonso Cuaron wanted to place a graveyard near Hagrid's hut, but JKR rejected this idea. Tilda Swinton was up for the role of Professor Trelawney, but turned it down. The actor who played Gregory Goyle had broken his arm, and some of his scenes went to an unnamed Slytherin student. Robin Williams, who originally wanted to play Hagrid, tried again for Remus Lupin, but the HP team still stuck with the British rule. Paul Keeve, a professional illusionist, was brought on to this film to teach some practical magic tricks.
It's going to be very good. That's too... That's a pig. Cats are not that funny. That is good. Donkey is good. And action!
The costume designer and director allowed the Hogwarts students to wear their uniforms as they thought their characters would, creating a unique look into their personalities. This is the only movie to show Charlie Weasley, the second oldest Weasley child. It was only for a brief moment in the Daily Prophet article photo. Professor Trelawney's glasses were magnifying glasses, which caused her to get a dizzy feeling. The giant squid in the Black Lake was going to make its first appearances, but it was cut from the film. The voice of the shrunken head on the night bus was the husband of actress Dawn French, who portrayed the fat lady portrait.
Scammers! Get off him! Leave him alone! Oh!
When Tom Felton first saw Gary Oldman on set, he thought he was a janitor. Director M. Night Shyamalan was considered to be brought on for this film. Concept drawings for Azkaban were created for this movie. Although they did not make it into the film, these sketches were saved and referenced for the Order of the Phoenix. Newt Scamander makes a guest appearance on the Marauders map. If you listen closely when Harry sees Peter Pettigrew on the Marauders map, you can hear the scurrying feet of scabbers.
It was decided that we would go to Scotland in May because it's the month when the sun shines. They haven't had rain for the last 3,000 years, and it rained every day for 28 days.
So there you have it, 50 behind-the-scenes facts about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Hopefully you've learned a few things about the movie. Let me know in the comments if you have any other fun facts. Thank you for listening and making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video and want to support the channel, please consider giving a like and drop a comment. You can also subscribe for more videos. I'll be back again soon with another video, but until then, keep enjoying the magic.